Siegfried, Prince of Xanten. His story begins with him becoming a knight. You know, the guy with the sword. Like most knights, he was constantly traversing through dangerous environments. This time was no different. The young soldier finds himself in an underground dwarven country. The two princes, now appointed as kings, were having a dispute over the distribution of their late father's treasure. They assigned Siegfried to fairly divide the treasure between them, and in return, he will receive the menacing greatsword Balmung. However, the two kings disagreed with the way Siegfried allotted the riches, attacking him in the process. Little did they know, the two were no match for this man. With no effort, he slays them both. Following their deaths was an uproar from 700 soldiers and 12 giants. The tribe commenced a full-on assault, but single-handedly, Siegfried killed every single one of them. The rest of the Dwarves didn't even bother. Okay, obviously this isn't working. Let's fall back. But something was wrong. From a concealed location, one of the Dwarves launched a sneak attack on Siegfried. And he got slapped. The prince overpowered his opponent and took the dwarf's cloak of invisibility. So you telling me you snuck up from behind and you were invisible, but you still lost? Bruh, kill yourself. The dwarf then became Siegfried's servant of his own volition. With no one else to stop him, he claimed the sword and the treasure as his own. Since the blade had been cursed, the sword's holy and demonic alignments were solely contingent with the person who wielded it. He returns to his kingdom. Later, he embarks on a journey to the cave that contained the rest of the dwarven loot. Here lies the notorious dragon Fafnir, who, formerly a dwarf, transformed into a dragon and guarded the gold from anyone who tried to enter. With Balmung in his hand, the fight was over before it began. Ho ho! Bars! I'm sorry. He slayed Fafnir, bathing in his blood and drinking it afterwards. Because of these events, Siegfried became invincible and could no longer be killed by ordinary measures. This affected him severely. Born into a royal family, Siegfried inherently took precedence for the throne, and even though they wanted him to be ruler, he refused to claim this title since his parents were in good health. He felt like this position was something that should be earned. With only 12 comrades, he proceeds to Worms, Germany, and confronts the ruler of the Burgundians to further establish himself. Gunther, who was their king, was told by Siegfried that he intended on winning the love of a woman and taking everything they possessed. At the same time, the Saxon and the Danish leaders sent their intentions of war to the Burgundians. King Gunther was flustered. In terms of political power, he exceeded Siegfried, but in armed forces, he was no match for Siegfried, the Danes, or the Saxons. Having a disproportionate amount of men, his subordinate, Hagen, suggested that he ask Siegfried for his assistance in battle. Gunther does so accordingly, referring that he'll reward Siegfried handsomely when the war is over. Siegfried acts as a general and launches a preemptive strike on the two enemies, telling Gunther to remain home and protect the kingdom. Upon his return, he is now recognized as a hero and meets Gunther's sister, Kriemhild, during a celebration for their victory. The two develop a close relationship during this time. Through these interactions, Gunther and Siegfried also become good friends of each other. Gunther eventually heard about Queen Brunhild from Iceland, so he sought to wed her. Siegfried joined his future brother-in-law on this journey. In order to avoid conflict, Siegfried introduced himself as Gunther's subordinate. Any man who wanted to marry Brunhild had to beat her in 3 contests: throwing a javelin, hurling a weight, and leaping a great distance. If you win, then you get Brunhild. If you lose, you get your head cut off. That's quite the incentive. Sounds easy, right? And it probably would have been if she wasn't She-Hulk. So Siegfried used the cloak that made him invisible for this task. This garment also gave him the strength of 12 additional men, so every time Gunther entered his trial, it appeared as if he was doing the actual work. Brunhild accepts Gunther's marriage proposal. So now we got two weddings about to happen. Brunhild is about to marry Gunther, Kriemhild is about to marry Siegfried, and Brunhild is telling Gunther that she doesn't believe Siegfried is his soldier. And until she gets proof, she's not letting him smash. The couples get married, and later that night, Gunther tries to take her by force. But since he has no help this time, she pushed him off, tied him up, and hung her from the ceiling. Siegfried and Gunther meet up the next morning, and Siegfried agreed to help his brother once again. So this time, Siegfried snuck into their room wearing the invisible cloak and held Brunhild down while Gunther had his way with her. Siegfried then took her belt and her ring and left the couple to their situation. He gave these items to his wife. So from what I understand, he's a thief and an accomplice to rape. Not gonna look good on a resume. Siegfried and Kriemhild returned to Xanten. Eventually, Brunhild proposed to Gunther that he should invite them back to a festival. During this gathering, Brunhild questions Kriemhild about Siegfried. Your man ain't a king. Excuse me? Do you not speak German? Your man is a buster. Right, but your husband couldn't take your virginity without his help, so what is he? If you're gonna make up stories, try harder. Oh, for real? I guess I'm making up this ring and this belt I'm holding too, huh? And then Brunhild burst into tears. In regard to her humiliation, Hagen made a vow that he would get revenge. He devised a plan to make Kriemhild reveal Siegfried's weak spot to him. Hey, do you know where Siegfried's weak spot is? Yeah, somewhere on his back. Do you mind putting like a little mark on his gear just in case something goes wrong? Mind you, Siegfried doesn't know anything. So later on, Hagen asked Siegfried to go hunting. Classic. And Cream's trying to tell him, hey, I don't think you should go. Nah, it's cool, don't worry about it. No, I mean, I really don't think you should go. Hey, I'm Siegfried. I got this. Alright? This next part too funny. So he takes off his weapons and places them against a tree. Then he conveniently leans over to get a drink of water. My God, Siegfried, could you make this any easier? Hagen stabs him in the back and kills him. The literal backstabber. Here's the cover-up story. He rolled off by himself and got killed by robbers. Really, nigga? What Hagen didn't know is that Cream had clairvoyant dreams, and that being said, she made a promise that he'll pay for what he did. She ordered to get Siegfried's treasure. This hoard was so plentiful that it took 140 wagons, 3 times a day, for 4 days straight to transfer it all. Gunther had to make a trip afterwards that involved bringing Kriemhild with him, and while they were gone, Hagen sunk the treasure. Years pass, and Kriemhild arranges to get married again, but this time it's to the Hungarian ruler, Attila the Hun. He arrives to Worms with 500 Hunnish knights, and the wedding commences. Then they return to Hungary. 7 years later, they have a son who, in Kriemhild's spite, was actually entrusted with seeking her revenge. More years pass, and she invites her 3 brothers to Hungary. Hagen thinks it's a trap, and Gunther tells him, hey bro, if you're scared, you can just stay here. Who's scared? We can go right now. They arrive in Hungary. Immediately, Hagen is confronted by Kriemhild. Where's my treasure? I sunk it. I'll ask you again. Did you kill my husband? Yes, it was I, Hagen. And if anybody feel played, then come see me. The Huns were holding a welcoming party for the Burgundians' arrival. Soon after, a Burgundian soldier killed one of the Hunnish knights during a friendly joust match. Hagen claimed it was an accident. Of course, Attila's warriors wanted to avenge their comrade, but the king held them back because he didn't want those problems. Then Kriemhild brings out her son to further incite this war, as he is the catalyst to Hagen's demise. Hagen lost it. From this act, Hagen became enraged, violently charging the boy and cut off his head. Oh hell nah, kill them all. I want every single one of them dead. Gunther and Hagen were captured. By Kriemhild's order, she had Gunther's head decapitated and delivered to the quarters where Hagen was being held captive. After this, she and only she brought Siegfried's sword, Balmung, and struck off Hagen's head. Her quest for revenge is finally over. That about wraps it up. If you enjoyed the video, please like it up so we can get this trending. Feel free to add information as you see fit, and let me know what you guys think about it. It's your boy Saya. I'm out.